welcome to Prudent Media. My name is Sachin Chatte and on this program we take a look at the latest releases. This week we will take a look at Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, the new Marvel film, and Amitabh Bachchan's Uunchai. First, let's take a look at Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. As we have discovered in the past, the second installment of a Marvel superhero film is always a tricky one. But Black Panther, which in many ways broke new ground for the studio, is going through an unparalleled loss. That of T'Challa, played by Chadwick Boseman, who played the King of Wakanda and passed away a couple of years ago because of cancer. Black Panther Wakanda Forever does mourn the passing away of the king, but it doesn't really milk it. Also, a Marvel film works better when it doesn't look like a typical Marvel film. In this case, most of the film is set in the fictional African kingdom of Wakanda. There is a leadership crisis after the death of T'Challa. The ladies, led by his mother, Queen Ramonda, played by Angela Bassett, and his sister Shuri, played by Letitia Wright, are more than capable and willing to defend Wakanda against any aggressors. Now, many nations are eyeing the all-powerful mineral vibranium, which is available only and only in Wakanda, and the ladies are hell-bent to protect their country. Now, that doesn't prevent the Americans and the rest of the other countries from looking for the mineral. They even have a machine to detect vibranium designed by a bright young student named Riri, played by Dominic Thorne, who looks like she's in her late teens. A different tribe, the one that resembles the folks from Avatar, shows up when a deep-sea drilling is in progress and they cause some serious destruction. Now here is where the major conflict of the film kicks in. The underwater kingdom of Talokan also has vibranium, and before the surface nations can attack them, they want Wakanda to join hands and destroy these surface nations first. Their leader Namor appears to be a reasonable guy, but even then, Shuri, the young princess, can't convince him of an amicable solution, and that leads to violence which will follow suit. While there are the standard set action pieces, the reason behind the violence looks futile. After all, these are two nations that will become the target of greedy countries like America at some point, and yet they are fighting with each other. There is also a fairly long background story in the form of a flashback about Namor and why he is so upset. Lupita Nyong'o shows up as Nakia and she's on a hiatus in Haiti. The length of the film is also detrimental. At 2 hours and 40 minutes plus, there isn't enough firepower in the story, and a crisper version could potentially work better. The themes of colonization and exploitation worked very well in the first installment. Even though it is repeated here, the characters take more of a center stage, particularly Shuri and Ramonda, who come into their own. There are also remarkable performances by the ladies on the scene, particularly Wright and Bassett. Even though you miss Boseman initially, the ladies make you realize that they are here to stay. I'm going to go with 3 out of 5 stars for the new Black Panther movie called Wakanda Forever. The other release of the week is the Amitabh Bachchan starrer Uunchai, which marks the return of director Suraj Barjatya to the big screen after a gap of almost 7 years when he made Prem Ratan Dhan Payog back in 2015. For a change, he steps out of his comfort zone. This is still a film about families, but there is no wedding involved here, and more importantly, it is about individuals and characters that have a point to prove. Even though the film clocks almost 3 hours and the storytelling is fairly simplistic, there's something about Uunchai that keeps you invested. Primarily because Barjatya makes you feel empathy for the characters, and you know that at some point in time in the future, it could be you trying to surmount the odds. The film is about friendship, determination, aging, and life in general. There are 4 best friends who enjoy each other's company more than anything else. There is Om, played by Anupam Kher, who runs an old-fashioned bookstore and refuses to change with time. Amit, played by Amitabh Bachchan, is a best-selling writer who also has a big following online. Then there is Javed, played by Boman Irani, who is a happily married man and runs a garment store, and he likes to go along with whatever others have planned. That leaves Bhupen, played by Danny Dengzongpa, who coaxes them to plan a trip to Everest Base Camp in Nepal, but he is not around to make his own wish come true. Now Amit takes the lead and convinces the other two to fulfill Bhupen's wish, and with very little in their favor, they decide to make this trip, which turns out to be quite eventful. For starters, Javed's wife, played by Neena Gupta, is unaware of the fact that they are actually planning a trek to the Himalayas. The journey to the base camp is a long and winding one that goes through Gorakhpur, Kanpur and Lucknow. On the way, they even pick up a passenger played by Sarika, and there is more to her than meets the eye. Pariniti Chopra shows up as a trekking guide, and her job is to either act bossy or to act emotional. At times, Uunchai is like listening to an elderly relative giving you wisdom about life. It is all well-intentioned, but there is only so much you can take before you switch off. The screenplay takes its own sweet time before coming into its own, especially in the second half. You want to hit the fast forward button, especially when they break into a song every now and then. The earnestness and sincerity of the cast helps. From Bachchan to Boman Irani and Anupam Kher, they all look like they are having fun playing the part. Uunchai then may not scale great heights, but it does strike a chord, and for that I'm going to go with 2.5 out of 5 stars for the new Suraj Bajjatiya film called Uunchai. Well, that's what I thought of the films that were released this week. Do let us know what you think. Do write into us. Our address is features@prudentmedia.in. And I'll be back with you next week with more movie reviews, including Drishyam 2. Till then, it's goodbye from me.